And welcome into Two Bald Guys on the Right. It is, I don't know, I've given up on how many episodes that we've had, but we are
54,
encouraging
55,
you.
I don't remember.
Yeah, to please subscribe to the channel, make sure and hit the notification. And more important than that, let your friends know about Two Bald Guys on the Right. If you haven't subscribed, we're so close to that number that we need, which is 1,000. 1,000 is the number that we need. So please go and subscribe to the channel. Make sure to tell your friends and family, please, to help us out. We'd appreciate that so much. Usually we do a Thursday edition of New Mexico, Two Bald Guys on the Right. Are we still going to be able to pull that off? Because I'm going to be on the road Thursday. Go and pick up my wife, who has been gone for three months.
I'm going to try.
Yeah, 3 months in her home country. So she's finally able to come back home.
We missed it last Thursday, so I think, but we got a lot of stuff to cover, so I think we can cover it, though.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, we got recreational marijuana that passed, and it also passed on the same day in New York. And I got to say this. I don't think there's enough weed in the world for us to smoke to reelect Andrew Cuomo and Michelle Lujan Grisham. I would have to be very, very high to vote for either one of them at this point.
Yeah,
but,
I don't think there's enough weed.
Yeah, I'm very excited to make the trip to Dallas to pick up the wife. And it's amazing that she has to have a coronavirus test to re-enter the country. In the meantime, southern border, people are just flooding through the border and zero test. And
no test required.
If the numbers go up, then we know that there's something the matter with this picture, that they are the super spreaders that they talked about Trump's rallies being. The illegals coming across the border are the super spreaders. No doubt about that. So, and what have we done about this? Nothing. Harris hasn't even gone to the border. Vice President Harris is like...
When she's supposed to be in charge, too.
Yeah, well, she kind of said she wasn't in charge of that. But, so nothing is being done. A couple weeks ago, we had a story, last week, in fact, that the man camps that house the oil field workers, they were kicked out with a 24-hour notice. Now, I thought under the Biden administration, we could not evict people.
Apparently, only if that housing is going to be used by the government to house illegals, then it's okay to evict people.
Then it's okay. So they kicked them out, and they kicked the oil field workers out, and sorry, go sleep in your truck. We got illegals to take care of, okay?
Right.
And we're paying $775, and these greedy son of a bucks, known as the Target Hospitality is the name of the company, that kicked the oil field workers out to accept the illegals, $775 a day to take care of these kids. Now we have 18,000 in Texas. 18,000.
Well, supposedly these different companies are getting 15 times their normal going rate in order to house these illegals. 15
because
times.
The government got money coming out the yin-yang, right? I mean, we got more money than we know what to do with. And in the meantime, we've got veterans sleeping on the streets. We've got our own citizens sleeping on the streets. We've got 14 million kids sleeping on the streets, but we're making room for other countries, their people, to come into the country, and we're going to treat them really nice. Really, really nice. I'm up to here with it. I'm like right here. I'm like right here. You know, you tax the hell out of me, and more taxes are coming under the Biden plan, and this stimulus package is also a joke. We're spending more money on electric vehicles for the government and charging stations than we are roads, bridges, and, of course, highways. Yeah, the whole thing is a joke. The whole damn thing is nothing but green energy poppy seeds popping up. Oh, look at this. Smell this flower. Doesn't it smell so good? It's green energy. Up to here. Up to here. And when are we just going to say, up to here, it's enough? It's enough. And by the way, it kind of feels good because I have no hair up there. And it just, but this is where I'm at. I'm up to here. Speaking of the border, I keep hearing, well, these people just want a better life. Have we ever stopped to think that could it be that there are terrorists also coming across the border? Of 70 arrests coming across through Alpine, Texas, 70 arrests, 50 of these people were non-Spanish speakers. You know what language they spoke?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Chinese.
Arabic, Chinese. Yeah.
Yeah, you name it. And then,
they were Israelites, they were Iraqi, they were Chinese. There were a lot of people that were coming across our southern border that were not from one of the South American countries.
I want you to think about this. How easy would it be for these people to attack us? How easy?
Once they're in our
be?
country? Oh,
yeah,
sure.
They're already here. They're already here.
It's not like, and the ones that are getting through without going through any of the checkpoints are not getting caught. What are they bringing with them? Drugs, weapons. Who knows?
Unvetted. We do not know who is in our country. This is scary times. It really is.
We know they're bringing coronavirus. That's been proven.
Yeah.
So
it's
diseases.
Scary times. Yeah, and for those that don't understand the whole immigration process in this country, to do it legally, you have to be checked out by a doctor to make sure that you don't have such things as hepatitis, and the list goes on, and on tuberculosis. And you have to be checked out by a doctor. He has to say that you pass medically. We don't know what these people are bringing in, what type of diseases they're bringing in. Then they do a international background check on you to make sure that you're not a criminal, you're not a murderer, you're not a child rapist, and the list goes on and on. But now we're letting them in, and sad story is we're releasing them on the street without even an appointment to go to court. Unvetted. So not to worry about it, but as my wife flies back in, she has to have the coronavirus test. None of this makes sense. Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Kamala Harris, for doing nothing for this emergency. And you know what? My heart goes out to these individuals, especially the kids. Send them home to their parents. That's the best thing you could do. If my kids were far away from me, just send them home to me. I guess that's not what they want. No. But by the way, 2 people from Yemen. How would you say that? Yemenis?
Yemenis.
Anyway, they're on the terrorist watch list. Were recently arrested, and border agents in California arrested the 2 men who were on the FBI terrorist watch list coming across the southern border in California. Yeah, check of the man's criminal history. 26-year-old man from Yemen is on the terrorist watch list, the no-fly list, and remains in federal custody pending removal. And then it happened again, a 33-year-old man pretty much coming over the same way. And by the way, agents found cellular phone SIM cards hidden underneath the insole of the guy's shoes. And they transferred him over to Immigration, Custom, and Enforcement. Hopefully they do not let these folks out, and hopefully they send them back home. So it's just not, the poor people. I'm just looking for a better life. I'm fleeing violence, as we proved a couple shows ago. That
it's the perfect opportunity for all these people to bring drugs in, to human traffic, to do all this stuff, because the border is just a porous, just open, just come on in.
I'm doing my best, directing of traffic. Come on in. Let's go.
Right.
And as we talked about a couple weeks ago, some cities in America have a higher murder rate and crime rate than Venezuela and Guatemala ever desired to have.
Wow.
Yeah. So the All-Star game has been, they're moving it. Any idea where they're going to move that game?
No, but somewhere other than, I'm sure it's going to be Atlanta. A Democrat state.
Of course. But Major League Baseball, you hypocritical son of a bucks. And Major League Baseball extended and expanded their contract with the communist Chinese telecommunication giant shortly before boycotting state of Georgia, and because of their disagreement with the election laws and that type of stuff. Why are these corporations getting involved in this?
They shouldn't have anything to do with politics, but even still, they're not reading the bills, and this has zero to do with keeping anyone from voting. It's all about making sure that we're only getting people who are actually really allowed to vote. I mean, but of course, according to the left, everybody who's in this country, whether they're here legally or not, should be able to vote. That's why they're doing it. That's the only reason you would not have voter ID. And this is all over voter ID. It has zero to do with anything else but having voter ID.
American Airlines has boycotted Texas, and they didn't even read the bill. They didn't even. No. Now, let me get this right. To enter the corporate offices of American Airlines, Delta Airline, Coca-Cola's corporate office, and the list goes on and on, would you have to have an ID to get through there? Damn right you would. To get on one of their planes, would you have to have an ID?
To work for those companies, you have to have an ID.
Oh.
And your Social Security card. I mean, you have to go through more just to be employed by one of these companies. So the whole thing is just asinine. To be able to fly on one of their companies, to be able to work for one of their companies, you have to have ID. But of course, that doesn't matter when we're talking about voting, because we want all the illegals to vote. That way, they can continue to vote the way the left wants them to.
I am not a cancel culture guy. I've never believed in cancel culture, but by God, can we cancel Coca-Cola? I'm just saying, I will not and will not drink Coca-Cola. Now, I had given up my favorite tea because it's made by Coca-Cola, and I moved over to a sugar-free lemonade. Guess what? Minute Maid is owned by Coca-Cola. By God, you know what I'm drinking today? I'm drinking iced coffee, and I'm not a coffee guy.
Out of your leftist tears tumbler, show the camera what your tumbler says. Leftist tears.
So, Major League Baseball, just like the NBA, you hypocritical son of a guns. So, Communist China has encampments that they've set up for the Muslims in China. We know there's child labor going on, human rights violation out the yin and yang. And here we go again. So Marco Rubio flagged the timing of Major League Baseball signing this agreement with China and the boycott of Georgia. And basically in the same week, they've decided that they would make a deal with the genocide going on with the Communist Party and China. But just such hypocrites when it comes
Major League Baseball, NBA, Nike,
all of them,
American Airlines, Delta, all of these guys are willing to work with China for a multitude of reasons and not denounce the travesties that they're doing, but they'll turn around and they will say that you can't we're suppressing the vote by making people have an ID.
I agree.
They have to have an ID, and they're being racist to say that people of different colors are too dumb or not able or not capable of getting an ID. I'm sorry, that's insulting. If I'm a person of color, that's insulting.
I would be very insulted. By the way, Ted Cruz and a couple others decided that they would like to take the antitrust away from Major League Baseball. They get a huge tax exemption along with the NFL and basketball. NBA, take their tax, man, be done with these fools. Be done with them. You are out of here. So
Georgia did that. Georgia did that very thing to Delta. They immediately stripped them of their. I guess they get a gas subsidy for the money they spend on airline fuel, and that immediately went away in Georgia. They immediately voted that out, so they just lost millions on that.
So Jen Psaki, the White House press secretary, was asked by Peter Doocy, because nobody else has the cojones to ask the tough questions. He asked about the All-Star game moving out, but he also said, wait a second, Augusta's being played. Oh, yep. Where's the boycott there? Here's what she had to say.
Should we believe that if PGA Tour players who are arriving in Augusta this week or today to register for the tournament, if they got together and decided or talked about not participating, that is something he would strongly support? Or is there a difference between
I'm sure you will ask me that question or him this question, but our focus is on doing what we can to advocate for making voting easier and more accessible around the country. And that's where our efforts are going to be from the White House.
I just got to ask this question. Why should voting be easier? Why should voting be easier? You know, I look forward to going vote. We already have early voting.
I'm sorry. It's pretty damn easy. What is hard about voting? What is hard about voting? In states like New Mexico, you don't have a voter ID law. I salute those states that have put a voter ID law, because all it's doing, the same ID you have to buy beer, to buy cigarettes, to get a job, to do anything, you have to have for this. And I'm all about like what Texas did. They made IDs free so that everybody could get them. It wasn't a thing about money or.
By the way,
we're just trying to make sure the people who say they're voting are actually voting.
Right. And they are who they are. So Peter Doocy went on to ask the next question about the money being lost. And you know what? A lot of black-owned businesses that were going to make millions of dollars because of the All-Star game in Atlanta are losing that money. I guess they didn't think about that. But how much money? They're talking about over $100 million. Here's what Peter Doocy asked that question about: did Biden think about this before he opened his trap and called for the boycott?
Before the president said that he would strongly support moving the All-Star game out of Georgia, did he consider the economic impact? Because the Cobb County tourism CEO is saying they're going to lose $100 million in lost business activity, 8,000 hotel rooms. Did he think about that before he said he would strongly support the move?
Again, he was doing an interview. He was given the context, as I just read out to you in full detail of how the question was asked. He answered the question.
Thank you, Raggedy Ann. We appreciate that so much.
And you did not answer the question, Jen Paskey. Good job.
So it looks like Greg Abbott has decided he is not going to throw out the first ball at the Rangers game. Traditionally, the governor goes out there and throws out the first ball. He has said he is not going to do it. And so here's Greg Abbott from last year waving at everybody. He throws out the first ball. He has said that he is boycotting Major League Baseball because to protest America's pastime. He said he was looking forward to it. In a tweet, he said, "I'm looking forward to it. First pitch of Texas Rangers home game until Major League Baseball adopted what has turned out to be a false narrative about Georgia's election law reforms. It's a shame that America's pastime is being influenced with partisan politics." Thank you, Governor Abbott. By the way, he said he went on to say that it's a shameful tactic, and he's sorry, but he's not going to condone it, and he's not going to throw out the first pitch. So Greg Abbott will not throw out the first pitch.
We got to stop bowing to the pressure of the left and what they're doing all the time. And I'm sorry, these companies are spineless for continuing to do that. I don't care. Look, you're supposed to be taking care of your customers no matter what their political affiliation.
I don't get that.
And if you don't want to do that, that's fine. That's what you risk. You risk losing your customers. Continue to do that. That's fine.
The problem is Americans don't have the spine to walk away from brands. They don't. I mean, to a certain degree, we do. I mean, we've hit the NFL pretty hard, and their ratings are down over 2 years, 29%. NBA's ratings were down big time, and I got a feeling Major League Baseball's ratings are also going to be down. If that is not enough,
Coca-Cola's taking a hit. I guarantee you Coca-Cola's going to take a hit.
I hope Coca-Cola is taking a hit, because the only way to hit these sorry son of a guns is to hit them in the pocketbook. If we hit them in the pocketbook, it matters.
I don't want Coca-Cola to go away. What I want to have happen is for management to change and the CEOs to lose their jobs because they screwed up and they backed the wrong horse, and immediately them take a middle-of-the-road approach and fire these SOBs that keep doing this crap.
I gave up on Coke when they said I was too white. Yeah, I was too white to drink Coca-Cola, so I changed.
Right.
When that leaked, I was just like, I'm not drinking anymore. And Pepsi has got their issues, too. If I can find RC Cola, that is what I will drink. And I don't drink soda that often. But yeah, if I can drink a RC Cola, man, I'm good with RC Cola. So
Right.
Coke, but shareholders, it's time for shareholders to stand up.
For sure.
They're a public traded company. Sell your stock in Coca-Cola. It might hurt a little bit, but sell your stock in Coca-Cola. If I had Coca-Cola stock, I would sell it today. Be done with them. I ain't backing a company that's un-American, and this whole thing is nothing more than un-American. Over the weekend, Antifa goes to New York City. Where's McLeod when you need him? Shh. Get off of there. So this Antifa clown starts climbing the Chase building, Chase Bank, and actually falls off of there and cracks his head open.
Oh,
And
I'm
it's
so sorry.
It's pretty gory, but he lived. He's going to be okay. I'm sure he was rushed to the hospital. If his mom and dad don't have insurance, I'm sure we're going to foot the bill for him. But here's video of this, and I do warn you that it is a little graphic.
Get down. Get down. Get down.
Here goes, guys. Oh, I don't know if you can see the blood. Not good. Not good at all.
We got 911 call from EMS.
I mean, a part of me.
EMS is coming. Step back. EMS is coming. Step back. EMS is coming.
A part of me feels bad. A part of me feels bad. But after seeing Antifa beat old people with
No
hammers
part
and
of
stuff,
me feels bad. No part of me feels bad. You play stupid games, you win stupid prizes,
Yeah,
and I
you're
didn't
right
see any
about
blood. All I saw was black paint. He obviously was going to
that
attack.
black paint?
No,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was black paint. There was a guy painting that was tagging the window below him as he's climbing, and I think he was just had plans to tag something higher so people could see it.
I got you.
So he had
here's
his backpack full of paint.
Here's the deal. What gives anybody the right to go destroy property? You know, but we had on the last show the elderly man that pulled a gun on him after they pepper sprayed him and beat his truck.
Yeah.
And then the police arrived there and, raised a gun and said, on the ground. And you could hear the Antifa, there you go, you Proud Boy, son of a gun. The guy was out for it wasn't a Proud Boy rally. It was about
It was a freedom rally.
It was a freedom rally, you jackass.
Yeah, and he didn't touch his gun until they started throwing rocks at him, and they threw a bucket of paint on his windshield so he couldn't see. He had to get out of his truck, and then they started assaulting him and throwing rocks at him. So he pulled his gun out. He didn't point it at anybody. He had it in a low ready position, and he just said, "Stand back." And then the cops went after him.
Why
It's ridiculous.
Why is it these Antifa clowns continue to get a break by law enforcement? And then
Oregon is
law-abiding
open carry
citizens.
too.
Yeah,
Oregon is open carry. He has a right to protect himself, and he didn't shoot anybody. He didn't even really point the gun at anybody. He just told them to back up.
And why can't you protect yourself? Why can't you protect himself? And let's go back to Kyle Rittenhouse. Why can't he protect himself? It's not like these guys were not trying to do bodily harm towards him.
Beat him, kill him, shoot him, all of the above.
Well, and I do believe that once they see a jury will see the video of this, they got to go, I don't know, though. I don't know, because in this day and age, and we're going to talk about George Floyd in a second, in this day and age, I don't know. I just don't know. Let's talk about Hunter Biden for a second. Hunter Biden is peddling a brand new book. Now, what's the name of the book? It's called Beautiful Things. And Beautiful Things details his drug addiction, his laptop, and not only that, it's a sad story that his mom died in a car wreck when he was 2 and 3 years old. I think Bo was 3 and he was 2. He's 51 years old now. And it also says that his dad wasn't around for him. And
of course not.
When he married the former... Yeah, he's been in
politics the whole time.
So, and then he marries the former babysitter, Joe Biden. Yeah, no, I'm not making that up. She was the former babysitter. And, good for him. I mean, Joe, he's probably sniffing her head when she was a teenager.
Former babysitter, Dr. Joe Biden.
Yeah, Joe Biden, Dr. Joe Biden. I don't know what the doctor is, but he says that in the book, it says that Joe Biden was an absentee father, a remote parent who couldn't and wouldn't open up emotionally. That's what they're saying about this dysfunctional family. And that Hunter Biden, ended up sleeping with Beau Biden's ex-wife.
Yep.
And, and his therapist, he discussed all this, that his therapist says that told Hunter Biden that you're avoiding being the chosen one because you're not the chosen one because your mother-in-law has chosen Beau over you. This is what his therapist says, and goes into great detail about the gun that he bought and said he had never used illegal substances and blah, 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 blah. But he finally answered the question about the laptop. And,
no, he didn't.
Well, you're right. He said it could have been the Russians that got it, but, I don't know. It wasn't mine. And then he went on to say that he had been so addicted to drugs, he didn't know if he was coming or going. But here's what he says about the laptop, this interview on CBS, because he's making that book tour, man. He's trying to sell that book. Here's what he had to say.
Laptop yours? You don't need the laptop. You got a book. You get the book. It's all in the book. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the book.
I truly...
You don't know.
The serious answer is that I truly do not know the answer to that.
Did you leave a laptop with a repairman
Not
in
that I
Wilmington?
remember.
Not that you remember.
No. But whether or not somebody has my laptop, whether or not I was hacked, whether or not there exists a laptop at all, I truly don't know.
Or you missed.
Come on, dude. I just got to ask that question. You're 51 years old. It's not like you're going through dementia like your old man. If you brought a laptop, Will, would you remember bringing the laptop?
I would hope so. But, if he's that baked out of his brain, maybe he doesn't know.
So
I believe he does know. I believe this is more about him just trying to basically not incriminate himself.
Right. I do too. Look, he knows that he brought not one laptop but 2 laptops, and it's got emails from your dad and yourself and Bob Alinsky and the whole deal. Come on, man. I'm going to give you my best joke. Come on, man. You know damn good and well that's your laptop. You know damn good and well it has incriminating evidence to prove that you took money from the Chinese and you also smoked crack with underage girls in China. And look, I get it. I will never make fun of somebody's drug addiction. Drug addiction is a terrible...
It's horrible.
It is. And I pray that the guy has gotten his life together. But at the same time...
For his kids' sake, if nothing else.
Yeah. You and your old man made millions, if not billions, off Ukraine, China, and God only knows who else, selling this country for everything that we had to offer. Here's what he had to say about his drug addiction. Can you believe the guy was smoking cheese? You heard me right, smoking cheese.
I don't even know what this is.
We smoke more Parmesan cheese than anyone... Anyone that you know, I'm sure, Tracy.
Because there'd be crumbs mixed in, and you just...
I mean, I went one time for 13 days without sleeping, and...
He also said that he would spend a lot of time on the carpet at his house looking for rocks of cocaine.
That's
how bad it was.
can you get high off of Parmesan cheese?
No, no, the Parmesan cheese, the whole deal was it kind of looks like crack, he said. I never thought about that because I've never smoked crack, and God knows I'd never want to smoke crack. But he said that Parmesan cheese kind of looks like crack. I thought crack cocaine was bigger. I
So did I. I don't know either.
I have no idea. I'm going to be completely honest.
The whole thing is just so absurd. It's so stupid. I'm sorry. I'm not going to waste my money buying his book. I'm just not.
So, Hunter, what are you doing tonight? Dad, I'm freebasing cheese.
You're
doing what? Well, you keep up the good work. You're one of the smartest men that I know. Don't you ever forget about that.
Yeah.
Even though Jill picked your brother Bo before you. You're not the chosen one. But you are one of the smartest men that I know. Now, who is this? Who is this?
Yeah.
Dad, it's Hunter. Happy Easter. Oh, Merry Christmas to you, too.
Oh, I know. It's just it's sad that we're saying this, but it's that absurd in a lot of ways.
But he's pushing this book. He is going on the circuit trying to sell this book because, look, the Ukrainian money is over. The Chinese money is over. Forget about it. I need some money. I'm going to write a damn book about my drug addiction. And people are buying it because they feel sorry for him now. Yeah, they feel sorry for him. All right, I'm banned. Got another 30-day jail stint in Facebook jail because I called Ian Omar. And it happened Saturday morning. I saw this tweet, and I should have knew better. And usually I do a better job camouflaging when I post something derogatory. So she says, I'm heartbroken to learn another Capitol police officer was killed while protecting the Capitol. My thoughts and prayers for the officer's family and the entire Capitol Police Force. The death toll would have been much worse if the assailant had an AR-15 instead of a knife. He rammed his car into the first Capitol Police officer that died. It
wasn't with a knife. It had nothing to do with a knife, had nothing to do with a gun. But of course, she's furthering her agenda. He ran him down with a car. It's tragic. But then, of course, everybody they're hardly talking about this, or they're making excuses for this guy who killed this police officer in cold blood.
He had a lot of concussions when he played football.
Right. And, trying to sidestep his mental illness. But even that, they're trying to make it about January 6th. They're trying to make it about January 6th. They're trying to make it about the right. And it has zero to do with that. They're just they just turn it around on us and try to make it fit their narrative. Let's put that square peg in the round hole.
Yeah, well, it doesn't work. Yeah, and you know what, I know more. Look, I did call her a dumb Muslim B-word, and I did. But I want you to think about this. She is Muslim. She is dumb as a box of damn rocks, and she is a bitch. She married her brother, okay? She married a brother. If that's not a bitch to me, I don't, or maybe it's somebody from Arkansas. I don't know. But the point of this is that, I wasn't inaccurate. I wasn't accurate, so I'm doing another 30-day stint, and so that I'm done with Ian Omar. Let's talk a little bit about the George Floyd case. We had a long conversation. One of our coworkers this morning on air is, maybe he didn't die. Maybe George Floyd didn't die from, maybe he died from this. Maybe he died from that. Or maybe he just died from drug overdose. I don't know. Have you read the autopsy? Have you read the toxicology report? No. Well, then shut up already.
Yep.
Because I'm going to break it down for you tonight. Hopefully he goes back and watches it. But Minneapolis police chief took the stand today. And the trial expected to turn towards the officer training. And the first African-American police chief, his name is Moderna Ariando. And he testified that he fired Chauvin and 3 other officers the day of the Floyd death, and he called it murder. Well, boy, I tell you what, that's setting them up pretty much. Murder is, and if you're in law enforcement, you need to know the definition of murder. The definition of murder would you would have to have some intent, correct, Will? I think you would have to have intent.
Typically, yes. Murder. You have to have intent.
Okay.
They have to prove that it was premeditated in some way.
Oh, okay. So when you go on a call, I've never been a police officer, but let's play the game. So, you know what calls you're going on beforehand? No.
I mean, typically, yes. No, you're talking about like way beforehand? No.
Yeah.
Before you arrive, when you get called out, but you don't know.
Did they know it was George Floyd that they were going to this scene? And
I don't believe they did. No.
Anyway,
they just heard of a guy trying to pass off a counterfeit bill and causing a disturbance.
So George Floyd's tragic death was not due to lack of training, he said. We have training. Now, I've heard on the flip side, this is taught at many academies and not a problem. But he said that's why they fired Chauvin and the other 3, and because it was murder. I'm just wondering if it was murder, because as I started going through the autopsy, for those that have never seen the autopsy, I want to go through this autopsy. The 46-year-old man became unresponsive while being restrained by law enforcement. This is what it says in the autopsy. Blunt force injuries. Now, you would think if they killed him, there would be some force of blunt force injuries, right? I would think there would be. So blunt force injuries to the forehead, face, and lip. Yes, there were some blunt force injuries, bruising and that type of stuff. Also bruising to the lips, blunt force injuries to the shoulder and hands. He was scraped up a little bit, and also to the wrist, which is common with being restrained with handcuffs. Okay, so we have no blunt force injury. Now I'm going to get to the neck and head coming up in just a second. Natural diseases, hypertension. Also, he was clinical hypertension. Had a left pelvic tumor. Also, so that's some of the stuff he had. When it comes to page 2, life-threatening injuries. Life-threatening injuries. What kind of life-threatening injuries were there? No facial, oral, or injuries. No injuries to muscles in the neck, to the larynx, and no scalp soft tissues, no skull injuries, no brain injuries, no chest injuries, and the list goes on and on. So page 2, Will, if you could show that. So that's page 2. They did a nasal swab. It proved that he had the coronavirus. Toxicology. Let's talk about the toxicology. What was in his bloodstream? Fentanyl, norfentanyl. I don't even know what this is. 4-N-A-N-P-P. Have no idea. Methamphetamine. Hydroxy delta. Have no idea what that is. THC. Another delta something. He tests positive for cotinine and caffeine. Urine blood tests also showed that he had fentanyl and amphetamines in his bloodstream. Urine tests said he also had morphine in his urine, and so on and so forth. Page 3, if you would, William. So, head. Soft tissue of the scalp is free of injuries. Free of injuries. So, it goes in a lot more detail. Neck, layer by layer. They dissected the muscles in his neck. It disclosed no area of contusion or hemorrhaging within the neck area. Body cavity, they also said the ribs, sternum, all of that was okay. Last thing they talked about was respiratory system. Right and left lungs weigh about 1,085, and extreme surfaces of pink only on most aspects, and deep purple in all other areas. Had congestion and other effects. So I just want to know how you kill somebody that has no blunt force injury to the neck or head. And how do you kill somebody? I have no idea how you kill somebody. And I want you to prove in the court of law how they killed him, because they didn't choke him. They did not choke him. They didn't break his neck. There were no contusions on the neck. I just want to know how you prove this case. How do you prove this case, Will?
Well, you can't. I mean, you can't prove it based on what they're trying to charge him with. And even then, I don't think he stepped outside of his what he was able to do as far as, and the guy asked to be put on the ground. He didn't want to be in the vehicle.
He was in the car.
He didn't want to be in the vehicle. He was claustrophobic, and of course, he was having trouble breathing because I believe, in my opinion, he was dying of an overdose.
Did you see the video of him in the story? And I should have included it, and I apologize.
I did.
I mean, the guy couldn't stand still. The guy was doing what I call the pee-pee dance.
Oh,
and it's actually kind of sad that somebody is so addicted to drugs that they would go out in public. And let's go a step further. Was he driving? Was he driving? Yeah, he was a driver.
Was he the driver too?
He was the driver.
That's pretty scary.
The guy could barely stand up. And look, let's talk about the chief of police. Let's talk about the chief of police. As a black man, do you think he's going to go against this case? Mm-mm. And same thing with the worker who last week said that if he had it over to do, he wouldn't have called the cops because it really wasn't that bad. Well, why the hell did you call the cops?
Right.
And isn't it a federal offense to pass counterfeit money?
Counterfeit?
Yeah, it is.
It is.
Yeah, it is. It is a federal offense. Don't act like this is not a bad deal. Quit race baiting. If this was a white guy, we wouldn't even be discussing it today.
No.
We wouldn't be. It's sad that we're in this position.
It would have never even made the news.
No,
if
it would have never made the news. It would have never made the news. But instead, they prop this guy up and give him not one, not two, not three, not four, but 5 funerals with the gold casket and the whole works. Are his kids better off today than they were when their dad was alive? That's the sad part.
Oh, a lot better.
A lot
$27 million better off.
What kind of dad can a drug addict be? Is he paying child support, or is he trying to find that next fix? Now, his girlfriend talked about their drug addiction on the stand last week. And look, drug addiction is a horrid thing. It really is. It's bad. It's bad. But if you don't do anything to change your life, I know a lot of people that were addicted to methamphetamine and have changed their life. Hey, me personally, I'll raise my hand. I was addicted to pain pills. I was. Took me about 4 days to detox when I got off all the pain pills. Doctors were prescribing over 500 pain pills a month to me, plus a spray that I sprayed up my nose instead of getting injections. Yeah,
wow.
I know all about it. And you know what? I've never went out and robbed somebody. Never went out and passed counterfeit bills. Just saying. If you're a drug addict, I encourage you to get some help. Because I get it. It's not easy. Not easy. Breaks my heart for his kids, but at the same time, this guy was not a good person. Just was not a good person. And I don't know how you convict these police officers of murder when I thought they had to be premeditated for murder. At best case, homicide. I don't even know if you get a homicide conviction. But I think at the back of their head, they're thinking, if we don't convict these folks, they're going to burn this damn town down.
They're going to burn it down either way. I guarantee if they just acquitted him, they're going to burn it down in celebration. They're going to burn it down no matter what.
Sad. And why aren't we arresting these people at the same rapid rate, I should say, that we arrested the people for the Capitol insurgents? Because it's not part of the agenda. That's the reason why. Before I get to that, here I am, a guy that's married to a Filipino lady and got, kids that are Hispanic. And I don't know about you, but I'm tired of turning on Netflix. I'm tired of seeing all these black-owned business commercials. If I was a Mexican today, a Hispanic person, I'd be pissed off and, well, where's my due? There's one commercial that I see over and over on Hulu about.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Maybe
You're
I
talking
will
about
invest
the
in
nerd wallet. The nerd wallet spot.
Yeah.
The white
Maybe
guy, the woke white guy is saying, I'm going to invest in black companies, and then the homosexual guy saying, I'm investing in green companies. Oh, yeah. No, and then they have the lesbian couple. It's just like, let's just see how many woke left stereotypes we can have on one commercial.
What about the Hispanic people? Why aren't you investing? What about the Asian people? Why aren't you investing in their businesses? And you know what? Why are you making special categories for black-owned businesses?
I'm sorry. How about just invest in businesses? In good businesses.
Yeah.
Whatever color they are.
I got in an argument with a lady on Facebook, and she said, hey, you had a 500-year head start on me. I'm, wait a second. I ain't been around for 500 years. I'm old, but I ain't that damn old. And you know what? Nobody gave me anything.
My people haven't been in the country for 500 years. I hate to tell you.
Mine either. We came after slavery. So put that in your pipe and smoke it. But the whole thing is, why are we giving attention to one race and screwing the rest of them? Makes you think, right? This is an agenda.
And if that's not racism, I don't know what is.
Why are we giving loan based on color of skin? I just want to know, why are we giving loans based on color of skin?
Why are we giving jobs based on color of skin? Why are we giving anything based on color of skin? It should be based on the person's qualifications, period. That's it.
Or maybe ability to pay the loan back. Isn't that the whole idea?
I mean, if that's what we're talking about, if we're talking about loans, then yes, we're talking about jobs, then qualifications. But whatever we're talking about, it's a merit-based system, and color of skin should not factor in at all.
This all started under Biden when he first got in office. You remember he said, we're going to give loans to black, Hispanic, and Indian, companies, so that they can get. And the whole thing about equality, I really don't get it. Hey, what about the Indians that came over here from India? Some of the hardest working people. What about the Asian people that came over here? Just asking. I mean, if we're going to do it, what about the poor white businesses? They're not going to get the same. Giving loans based on color of skin, you bunch of racist son of a guns. I'm sick of it. All right, 22 states have joined a lawsuit urging the federal courts to rule against the California large capacity magazine ban. So we got 22 states that have joined in this fight to do away with California. Look, they're trying to push this all over the United States. We know that it could be coming to America because the Attorney General of California is now a big time in the Biden administration. So 22 states have joined this lawsuit. Look, one of the single largest things that they're pushing in state government today is a ban on firearms. We see it here in New Mexico. Thank God we've got several states that have stepped up and said, hey, we're going to open carry. Yeah, you don't need a permit. You don't need a concealed carry permit. You don't need anything to carry a weapon in our states. Now, I don't know how this figures, but in New Mexico, a very, very liberal state, we have open carry. We can carry a gun whatever we want as long as it's within sight. Now, we can't conceal it, but as long as it's in sight. So 22 states have joined that lawsuit. Whew. Boy, we got through a lot of stuff. God bless.
We did.
God bless. And I hope you guys have a good night. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you would. Subscribe. Make sure and tell your friends. 2 bald guys on the right. And make sure and say they're really bald, too. Make sure and let them know that they're 2 bald guys with brains just popping out. So make sure and subscribe to the channel. Where else
we would
can
appreciate
we be,
it very much.
Yeah, on YouTube. Where else can we be found?
You can find us anywhere that you stream a podcast, the audio version, Podbean. You can catch us on iTunes, Spotify, and, of course, right here on YouTube. And please do hit that subscribe button. We would sure appreciate it. And don't forget, we're going to try our best to do a Thursday New Mexico edition coming up. And if you have those notifications on, you'll know when we go on.
So appreciate you guys. Have a blessed night tonight. And God bless America. I'm still praying for you.